Hi, this is Rabbi Eisenberger. I am excited today to have here Moshe, who went through our program. I will interview him. I have some questions. So, how are you, Moshe?
Hi, Rabbi Eisenberger. Hi. Thank you for bringing me on.
Okay, I'm very excited to be with you. So, you went through our program. So, if you can describe for the people how your marriage was before you joined our program.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'll tell you, for all the people who are listening, our marriage was basically, I would say, like like two roommates, two people who are living under the same roof, and we weren't fighting. We didn't have any bad minutes, meaning like fighting with each other, but there was plain no connection. And as everybody knows, if there's a couple who has no connection, obviously things are going down, and because you live together like day and night, if you don't really appreciate the other person, your spouse, if you don't appreciate them, obviously the marriage will slowly become less and less interesting, and every little thing will become a whole issue. And even though you're not the type of person who fight with your roommates or have to do with any people, but in a marriage, when you're together 24 hours, if there is no connection, if there is no love, if there is no connection one with another, obviously with the time things will start to drop. So this was, I could explain it like this is how our marriage was before we started the course. I say we because my wife also went through the thing. This was about how I would describe my marriage.
Okay, Moshe. So your wife also went through the thing, and your wife went through first, or you went through first? How?
Okay, so I'll explain you to all the listeners who are listening to this. What happened was, I before this course, for sure, I am the type of person who, when I see a course, I try it out. When I see a new teleseminar, I jump on it. Before I came to Rabbi Eisenberger, just for the listeners to know, I spent, I would say, a good $12,000 to $13,000 on therapy, courses, teleseminars, mostly for me, for my wife as well. And I would say it openly, there wasn't any specific problem with me or with my wife. We just didn't connect. We came from different backgrounds. We didn't understand each other. We didn't accept each other. I would say it like this, even though before I got married, I was looking for something else totally, and I just found myself a year after I got married with a baby, and I was like, how did I come into this? So I tried everything. I tried everything under the sun. I went to therapy, from the most Hasidic to the most modern. I read all sorts of self-help books, the ones that are everybody reads, the one that no one reads, like everything. I did everything. I went to all the teleseminars. I can't say all, but I went to a lot of teleseminars, and every one of them guarantees to give you like satisfaction, even though everyone guarantees that. Now, I'll tell you the truth. There is a lot of good ideas I picked up along the way, and I can't say that nothing had an effect on me. But this was before I came to Rabbi Eisenberg. So what happened was, Rabbi Eisenberg asked me if I went or my wife. What happened was, I was speaking once to a friend. Well, I didn't tell him anything, what I'm going through. And by the way, myself understood, if you go to so much therapists, then to everyone you have to speak your whole story, and it gets very sticky. The whole situation is very, very, very sticky. What happened was, I spoke to a friend, like nothing about our marriage. I just spoke to him, and he lives in Mount New York. He told me you must try this, you must try this. There's someone named Rabbi Eisenberg, he has a course, and he gives a course on marriage, and I'm telling you, this is the course of the century. And I thought, like, okay, I didn't tell him what I went through, and I didn't tell him, how much money I spent on courses. And he just told me, you must try it. So I told him, yes, okay, no problem, give me the number. I took down a number just because I wanted to make him feel good. He gave me the number, and I was in a very, very low position, me and my wife, at that time. Things were very not good. So I thought, after I went through a week or two, and things were just getting worse and worse, I thought, why shouldn't I try it? Of course, if I spent anyway so much money, let me try it. And then I thought, what does he know? He doesn't know of anything. He didn't go through anything, so that's why he says the course is the best course. But if he would go through what I went through, and understandably I can't, stand alone everything that I went through, but I'm saying in general, went through that. So I thought that, if he would only know what I'm going through, he wouldn't say this course will be able to help me. So, but then I thought, if I'm anyway here and I spent anyway so much money, I'll try the course. And I'll tell you the truth, I called the first time, and you give the first share, you give for free without paying. And I heard in that share about you explained the 6 types of human life?
Yes.
Yes, okay, so that was the first share I heard. And I'll tell you the truth, I really always wanted a good human life. I was never the type to fight. I wasn't, there was not any hard feelings or anything I wanted to fight, or I wanted, our marriage to look like that. We weren't a pair together. We didn't click. We had different backgrounds. We had different, totally different views on life, and it just really didn't click. I just felt like I'm here by mistake. And when I heard that here, I remember it was late at night, really late. I was 1 o'clock at night. I heard it, and I could say I literally started crying because you explained it so well, and I never heard someone who said that you could reach the first level from the life. That Eisenberg speaks about. I would advise everyone to listen to the first year. You speak about the type of life someone can have when he reaches the first level from the life, and you make it seem like it's easy. It's work, but it's not something that it's unreachable. And when I heard that, I decided, I made a strong decision that I'll do everything I can to reach that level of human life. And that's when I called you, Rabbi Eisenberg, to sign off. And I'll tell you the truth, you told me the price on the Shiram. I thought like, okay, this is something, it's a price that it's a price range that I didn't think about. It wasn't really on my, on my range that I thought about. But after making that commitment that night that I'll do everything I can, I decided that this is one of the things that I'm supposed to be committed to, pay money for that. And if this is the price going, I have to pay it. Now, I'll tell you, Rabbi Eisenberg, I think from our marriage, that was the best investment I made. The best investment, more than anything I bought my wife, more than the biggest vacations we had. I think that was the best investment I had. So that's how I started.
Well, amazing, Moshe. So let me understand a little bit more. So, first, let me go back. How long when you went to therapy? Did you go every week, and for how long did you go to therapy?
The thing with therapy is like this. Me personally, I hear a lot of people, Rabbunim, and a lot of people saying therapy, nothing. The truth is like this. Therapy, I won't say it's nothing, but basically what therapy does, speaking from experience, therapy basically leads you through the maze. like I would give an example. If someone, let's say, goes through a corn maze and you feel lost, so you have someone who helps you and he tells you, okay, here go right, here go left, and here do this, here do that. And then I would say that when I started doing your course, it literally just took me out of the maze and just picked me up and told me, this is not your place, you don't belong here. I hope I explain myself well, Rabbi Eisenberger.
Yes, very well.
Right, okay, so basically therapy, you're like in a corn maze, you don't know where to go, or in a mirror maze, you know, all these types of mazes. You're walking through a maze, you don't know where to go, you don't know what to do, you don't know if you're standing in a good position, if you're not in a good position, you don't know anything. You feel lost, you really, really feel lost. You feel you tried everything, you feel everything is reflecting back on you. You don't know where to go. So you go to therapy and he starts to explain you, okay, here you belong, here you're supposed to go right. So you start going right, and then you see little changes for the better, and then, you know, you're not again on the wall. So he tells you, okay, here you have to go left, and then you see that you made a mistake, so he tells you, okay, so here you go right again, and here you go left again. Basically, you're going round and round, and again, I wouldn't say that therapy is nothing. I'm not this type of people who say, nah, therapy is gunishvert. I wouldn't say that it's gunishvert. For sure, there are people who need therapy, and for sure that therapy helps for a lot of people. But what I would say here is that most people, and again, I don't know what anyone goes through in their personal marriage life, but I would say from someone who, like from experience, most situations, I had a lot of situations, like big, heavy situations. Most situations don't need therapy. The situations become because you are in the maze, and because you don't know how to go, then you get lost, and things happen. That's all because you're in the maze and you don't know where to go. If someone just lifts you out of the maze, you just picks you up, you don't need, no situations are happening, you don't need therapy, you don't need guidance. You just need someone to lift you out of there and tell you this is not your place. You're doing wrong, your whole mindset is wrong, and just change your mindset. So regarding your question, Rabbi Eisenberg, how long did I go to therapy? It was a constant thing. We tried one thing, it didn't work, we tried another thing. And after going a few months, he told us, okay, so I can't help you, you have to go to a different type of therapist. And that type of therapist, after a few months working, told you, okay, this method doesn't work, we have to try a different method. It was a constant thing, like I would say, like for 4 or 5 years, we just constantly went, I wouldn't say maybe once a week. There were times we went twice a week, there were times we went once a month. But the thing was, we were constantly trying to work, but like I said, we were working on something that doesn't have any emotion. And we're like working with fear, because we make situations of things that doesn't have to be situations.
Interesting. Okay, so when you mentioned before, Moshe, that you came and your wife also came. How did that join my program?
So, okay, what happened was like this. Throughout our marriage, I told my wife a lot of times, okay, I promise you, we'll try to start a new page, we'll start a new book, we'll throw away the old book. And I really meant it. I didn't mean any jokes. I really meant it with my whole heart. Because like I said, I always wanted to have a good marriage. And I mean, who doesn't want to? All of you listeners, I'm sure every one of you wants to have a good marriage. Nobody wants not to have a happy marriage. And one of the things also that Eisenberg explained very well on the first year that I heard that night is that a good marriage is something that's a constant thing. It just gets better and better. If it doesn't get better, if it seems like you come home and your wife screams at you, or she's in a bad mood, and you feel like, okay, I hear what she says, I'm not going to answer back, I'm not going to say anything, I'm just going to swallow what she says, and then you go out to Dav Marav, that doesn't mean you have a good marriage. No, definitely not. It means that something is wrong, because if your wife complains to you, and if your wife screams at you or whatever, she wants something from you, and Rabbi Eisenberg gives a very good message and very good explanations of what she wants, so you won't have to deal with it. And one of the big things I would say, I'm sure Rabbi Eisenberg will get to that soon, one of the big things that I would say changed after my marriage is this point, because every woman has, days that she's, not in the best mood. And I would say that these days are the best days for us, because after I hear her out and after I feel with her and whatever that Asbury explains to do, we have a beautiful relationship afterwards. We feel very close together because she really feels she got from me what she wanted. She wanted I should listen to her. She wanted whatever she wants, whatever Asbury explains what a woman wants from a husband when she complains to him. He tells me that, and that really changed us around. So back to your question of Eisenberger, I always promise my wife, okay, I'll get better. And she always told it to me as well, okay, I'll try my best. There wasn't, but the problem is there was willpower, but there wasn't any
direction.
Yes, directions. Yes, there wasn't any specific things, what to do, where to do, how to do. Nobody explains it. Everybody says, okay, you have to do like this, do that, but nobody explains very. I'm sorry. Nobody explained exactly what to do. So what happened was, like I said before, that night I made a commitment, and I told Rabbi Eisenberg, he told me the price, I was turned off, but then I decided I'll, make an investment. So I started listening, and I'll tell you to all listeners who want to go through the program, I would really advise you to listen with both ears, no distractions, no cell phones, no texting, nothing. Just sitting with, I put in even a noise cancellation earphone. That I when you give it a Shirim, I put in headphones that literally makes noise cancellation. I sat down with a notebook and a pen, and I wrote down everything I think everything that you taught, all the methods that you explained, all the mindset, everything that you said, I wrote it down very clear. And one of the most, the biggest difference between Rabbi Eisenberg's course and all the other courses is that there's no there's no lecture that goes through without saying afterwards exactly what he has to do. I remember it was 2 or 3 things, but it's very, very clear plan of action what you have to do this coming week. And after doing that, I'll tell you the truth. It takes a lot of a mindset from the one who listens. But again, if you really want to get your money's worth and really want to have a great marriage, you do have to invest your time. You have to invest your mindset. It's not a lot. It's not
You mean by Moshe, by mindset, you mean the effort? You mean the do the stuff even it's hard, even it's tough?
It's both. I would say if someone goes on a diet, the hardship of the diet is not so much that he can't eat. It's more the mindset that he knows he can't eat anything. It's not the Danish he wants to eat. It's the mindset. He feels that, okay, I can't eat anything I want. That's the hardship. So the same thing over here. It's not that Rabbi Eisenberg, you explain you have to do very hard things. No, it's very. I would say it's not hard. Maybe it's a little tough, maybe a little, but it's not hard. The thing you have to commit is really to put your mindset that I'm in a position, I'm going through a change. I really have to change now. That's what you have to. I'm telling you to all the listeners who are listening. When you go through these lectures, for sure, if you will think, okay, it's another nice idea, it won't do anything. If you really put in your mind and really try to think, okay, I'm going now through a process of really changing, and I'm committed to do anything, and 100% you'll change. There's no question about it. It's not possible. I'm telling you. So don't tell me that in the other courses, if I would put my whole mind, I would also change, because I did, and somehow it didn't help. So that's what happened. Okay, so go back to your question, what happened exactly. It was about summertime, and I started doing one year, and then I started doing the next and the next. I think it was about the 3rd year, and I felt I started having a relationship with my wife that I never thought of having. I never even believed I would be able to have it, and especially I wouldn't say like on the phone line exactly what was between us, but with everything between us, it wasn't the data it wasn't really possible to try to have that relationship. And after 2 or 3 shiurim, I don't remember exactly which shiur it was, I just literally started feeling different, and was I saw results right away. And also one of the big things I realized is that most of the situations and most of the disagreements and most of these things, when you have a good relationship, when you feel really close, and you feel that she's your wife and you accept her, whoever she is, with all her malice, ins and outs, if you really accept her for your wife and you really, try to commit to do everything to build this relationship, most of the disagreements, most of the things just don't take place. It just falls away. It's not like you have a way of dealing with this. That's also, for sure, Eisenberg gives ways and methods to deal with disagreements as well. But most of these things just don't happen. It just don't happen because when you see a different kid in this mother is doing something, a lot of things will bother you about that kid. But if it's your own kid, somehow you'll always see it with a good eye, and you'll always have a different type of relationship with him. Why? Because he's your kid. Your wife, if you really accept her, that who she is, with all her ins and outs, she's your wife, and you're really committed to make that relationship work, most of the situations won't happen. And even when it does happen, you have a very solid method and a very good way how to deal with it. So that happened after it was in the summertime, and there was like 2-3 shiurim in the course, and my wife just told me, "Wow, like I can't believe what's happening with us." She told me, "I really can't believe what's happening with us." And after I finished the course, I did it in about 6 weeks, 7 weeks. Maybe soon you'll ask me a little more about the course, but that's basically what happened. And after that, my wife told me, "Okay, maybe I also want to do it." And here we are.
Okay, great, Moshe. So let me ask you before how your marriage transformed before your wife joined the course.
The truth is, I'll say it openly on the line, most of the work is for the husband. Even though your wife is 100% wrong, really, even though your wife has the hardest situations, and anything you want to say to your wife, she comes from the hardest family, she doesn't have any interest in you, anything that your wife is not interested, it's okay, even if it's your wife's problem. If the husband, if the man goes through the course, it will change, definitely. So it wasn't that she went through the course was like just the cherry on the top. It really wasn't the game changer. The game changer is changing the mindset of the husband. Even if the wife is 100% wrong. I'm not saying that my wife was 100% wrong. I'm just saying that in any situation, I'm just saying it to the listeners, even if you feel that your wife is really wrong and she's definitely wrong. Let's say she comes from a hard family, or let's say she doesn't have any interest in you, or let's say she really is off, whatever it is, you can't change it. It's really you.
Amazing, Moshe. So basically, if you can describe for the people how your marriage looks like now, because I think we had a pretty good feeling how it was before. Even though you didn't want to share exactly the details how tough it was, but I believe everybody got a picture how it was. So my question is, if you can describe for the people how your marriage is now after you went through the program.
Okay, so I would say it in one word. I said it before. I will elaborate a little more on that point. There's relationship. There's a certain type. Hashem created the world with certain type of relationships. There's a relationship between father and child. There's a relationship between you and your parents. There's a relationship between a boss and a cook and a worker. There's a relationship from friends. Every relationship has their own specialty and their own uniqueness. No one can try to compare the relationship from a father and a child to a relationship to two friends. It's a different type of relationship. It's not that one is more, one is less. It's a different type of relationship. Every relationship has their type, their deepness, their type of relating. The relationship between a husband and a wife is a type of relationship that it's there's no way to explain it, only if you feel you have it. If someone doesn't have children, it's very hard to explain the relationship between a father and a child, because he doesn't have any children. He doesn't know how to relate to that. I'm sorry, but nobody has this relationship. If someone doesn't have this relationship between him and his wife, it's very hard to explain it, how this relationship is. But what I could say is that the relationship is exactly how a relationship between a husband and a wife has to be. There is this very this strong love, for sure. It doesn't mean that situations don't come up. It doesn't mean that a woman don't complain. But there's always this positive type of feeling that I take care of her and she's my wife. I really will do anything I can to make her feel good. And she, from her side, Baruch Hashem, automatically reflects like a wife is supposed to reflect her husband, to do anything for him and really to give him what he wants and to be here for her. And I would say it like the Rambam says, like the husband is a real king, a real melech, and a king doesn't mean he rules. A king means, like Rabbi Eisenberg explains very well on the Shirim, a king means that he really takes full achrayus, full responsibility for the sheep, for the house, and the woman is a real queen, like a real queen has to do, really take care of the husband and make sure that and she'll go with him in all the situations and all everything. It's a real. I could explain it like if I want to explain it. Like I said before, it's really hard to explain to someone who doesn't have it, because it's a different type of relationship. But if I want to try to explain it in words, I would explain it like this: like a real king and a real queen. I hope I explained it well.
Okay, great, Moshe. So let me ask you like this. There are people who, most people, when they get married, when they get married, when they meet, they have that magic excitement, the magic passion, that magic love connection. It's like time flies by. They enjoy themselves so much, and throughout the years, sometimes, usually, it goes away, that excitement, that passion, that love, and it grows. They disconnect more and more, and then it builds up pain and pain. So the marriage you got after going through my program, how would you compare it to a relationship that excited passion and love that people get right away when they meet?
Okay, so it's a very interesting question, and I have a very interesting answer for that as well. We were recently at a hotel, and we saw two people, like we saw a boy and a girl like going out, and my wife told me they don't know where they're missing out. So I would say that regarding the question, it's like a joke. You can't even compare it. This is true, and that's not true. Not that the excitement that there is in the beginning of the marriage is not true. It's just it's not built on anything. It doesn't have any foundation. After going through this course and really working on your marriage and really going through situations and knowing how to deal with this literally builds a love. If you want, I should explain it more. I would explain it like the excitement that there is in the beginning is like a projector. It projects on a wall like a fire. It projects on the wall on fire, but there's no mamusha to it. If you turn off the switch or someone blacks the way, the projector doesn't have on what to project. So if any situation comes along, and that's I guess what happens with the years, when the woman starts complaining to the husband and the husband feels like he's turned off and she's not interested in him, or the opposite, the wife just feels that her husband is not for her and she didn't, or he thinks that he wasn't what he thought she was. Whatever the situation is, the projector doesn't have on what to reflect, so basically it just dies off. After going through this course and really working, it's like you're taking a lot of wood and putting on gasoline and lighting a fire. It's a real fire. It has what to burn, and even if it comes strong winds and even if someone like tries to put water, it won't go off because it's real. It has on what to burn. It has foundation. So I think that's how I would compare it.
Yeah, that's very interesting, Moshe. That's great. So what else do I want to ask? You have something to add?
Whoever will listen to this interview, I'm just telling you again. I know the course goes through a few shirim and there's exercises, but it's a game changer. If you really put yourself into it and you really commit to make your marriage work, I promise you. I can't promise, but I'm saying that even if your wife is 100% wrong, you'll see major changes from your side and from her side as well.
Do you have kids?
Yes,
How many kids do you have?
we have 3 kids.
Okay, and how old is the oldest?
Turning 5.
Turning 5. Okay, so how do you think the 3 kids, when they will grow up, when they will get married, how will their marriage be like after you joined the program, versus how you think if you wouldn't join this program, you would continue the same way of going to therapy, or whatever what happened if you didn't find me and you didn't find this program. If you can compare to the people what would be without the program with your children when they get married, and what will be since you joined the program, went through the program with them.
Mm-hmm. So it's interesting. You reminded me another thing that I think I was supposed to say that before. I just forgot. That one of the major changes I saw was in the relationship between me, my wife, and the children. It's very interesting because parents have a natural love for a child, but if parents have a relationship between themselves, besides that the child sees that, the parents themselves feel much more connected to the child. I don't know exactly how that works, and I'm sure there's a lot of theories, how exactly that works. But I'll give an example. Before I started this course, when my child would, cry at night, or I would get angry. I wouldn't, I wouldn't slap at her, but I would get really angry at her and scream at her, maybe like, why is she crying and why is she making a whole big fuss about everything. But once I started this course, and once I really went through this transformation, Baruch Hashem, I feel much more calm towards my children. I feel much more love towards my children. And I don't know exactly that theory, maybe because I feel connected with my wife more, so I feel that the whole family gets like closer together. I don't know exactly how to explain it, but the fact is that the whole family gets closer together. All the children and the parents just get a deeper connection, more a meaningful connection. And I would say with my wife as well. Before we started the course together, also she didn't have all the patience in the world for the children, and after we did it, she literally just changed, not with me, just with the children as well. So this is one point. You didn't mean that, Rabbi Eisenberg, but I'm just saying it because I reminded myself.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for bringing that up. I think. Let me ask you if it's possible that the reason behind it. You said you don't know the reason exactly, but is it possible that the reason is because you get all your needs now from your marriage, and your wife gets all her needs, so automatically you are more calm because your needs are met, and you're happy, and you feel like in ecstasy, and that's why you're more relaxed with the children. You have more, because if you were empty, it's hard to give to your children. But if you are full, your wife are full, everybody is full, you can give to your children. Is that possible?
I think it's a very good explanation. While you're speaking, I would also think, in a day that there's a time I can't see, you're not allowed to eat. For sure, you don't have more patience for them. I think even in Shulchan Aruch it says that a Rebbe, a Malamed, doesn't fast because he won't have patience with the children. So I guess that would be the reason behind it. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't feel your needs getting met. And that's another thing I want to explain for everyone. Don't ever think that you can go through life with a marriage not giving you what you need. It's a big mistake that, like the people complain that they try to compare it to the big theory of flight or fight. A lot of people, when they go through a hard marriage, they try to fight, and until something happens. And there's the other type of people who are, the more I would say, the more people with the better midas, will try to fly. I mean, they say, okay, I give up, whatever. In my mind, I'm disconnected with my wife, and whatever, we'll go through 30, 40, 50 years like this. And Rabbi Eisenberg explains it very well on his sixth level of Shalom Bayis. He explains it very well, all the levels. And this is what I want to tell to all the listeners. Don't ever think that you could go through life feeling like that. Maybe it's good for a month, it's good for a year maybe. Maybe you can try to push it for 2 to 3 years, but don't try to fool yourself that you can go through that. So when a husband or a wife, it goes through that feeling that, okay, a flight, he goes away at night, he speaks to his friends, he feels he gets his needs from listening to music or from watching YouTube or whatever it is, or even speaking to friends, or even, I would say, Rabbi says that also, even learning. Learning gives a big need for a person. It says that a big satisfaction, but it goes together. It goes together. When a person is Uda Mashulam and he feels full, then the further could have a real effect on him. But if a person doesn't have this shyness, this plainness from his wife, he automatically feels empty. And if it feels empty, I would compare it like Rabbi Eisenberg said before, it's like on a day you fast. So you can't really have the mindset you have to have towards your children. You don't have the calmness towards your children and towards anything. So I guess, that would be the theory.
Yeah, great analogy. Okay, Moshe, back to my question before. So how would you wanted to answer?
So I started saying, Baruch Hashem, now we feel much more as a family, feel much more connected towards the children, and the children feel connected towards their parents. And when the children feel connected towards their parents, they will automatically pick up whatever they see by their parents. So I know I'm not a movie. I don't know what will happen in 20 years from now. But I really, Baruch Hashem, my children are growing up in a very healthy home, very, very healthy home, especially in these days when, the street is not the healthiest street out there. Baruch Hashem, I feel that my children really feel comfortable at home, and I hope, Be'ez Hashem, the Beis HaTeva, they'll really reflect what they see by their parents, and to have when they'll get married, to really want to build a B'Hashem Yisrael. And versus when I wouldn't take this course and everything would be more cold, what I'm asking the listeners, what do they think if the street is so attractive today's days? What will they think? What will the children see? What will the children see at home? What will the children feel when they come home after their school? and eventually, how will they grow up when they want to get married, or even before then, when they're teenagers? What will they think when they see the street and they see their house? Obviously, they won't be comfortable at home. They won't feel the warmth. They won't feel the love that the parents have towards one another. I once heard a very good saying: the best present you can give to your children is to listen to your wife when she complains. I mean, it's very true. The best present you can give to your children is when your wife complains. Just listen to her, because children see that, and children see much more than parents think that children see. So Baruch Hashem, going through this course, like I said, Baruch Hashem, we're a happy family, and our children are very comfortable at home, Baruch Hashem. And I hope that they'll pick up what they learn at home. Baruch Hashem.
You said before, Moshe, that this is the greatest present that you ever gave for your wife. It's the greatest deal. Is this the greatest present you ever gave for your children too?
Sure, for sure. It's not a present. I feel before that I didn't. Every father loves their child, but the connection, like I said before, there's a certain relationship a father has to have with the child And when he's empty, he can't have that relationship. He can't have it. Besides what Rav Eisenberg explained, because when you're empty, you can't give. But it's not only the giving part; it's the feeling. You can't feel when you feel. On a day that you fast, you can't really feel because your body is empty. You don't have water. You don't have you don't have liquid. For sure, when there's no physical, if you don't have emotional needs, if your emotional needs don't get filled, for sure you can't really connect to yourself. So yeah, for sure, that's the best present you can give to anyone, anyone around me. Even my chavistas, even the people I work with, I think the best present I can give to anyone around me, and myself as well. I mean, for friends, I never have to know. Another thing, it's a known thing. People think that if I'm sad, I'll be happy. If I have that, like external things you'll get or things you'll win, or that will make you happy. I think it's a known thing already that it doesn't make you happy. There's the known studies of people who won the lottery, they were so sad, or people who became, like a vegetable, they couldn't move, they were disabled, they were the same happy. I think that's a known study, but I could say, this is a real internal, something that really changes you, and in any situation to really be happy, even if your wife, complains and you feel like everything is going wrong and you really had a hard day, you really feel happy. You really change yourself.
Great, great, Moshe. I'm really excited to see you transform your marriage, and I'm excited, happy to talk to you. I really thank you for sharing this with other people, and everybody should see what's possible. Do you have anything else to add?
No, I think I said everything, and if somebody's still not convinced, then I think it's their problem.
Okay. Thank you so much, Moshe.
Yes, no problem. Thank you, Razan.